I do all kinds of things, including jewelry. So I'm back to the bench. I've got some equipment set up, my studio set up, and I've started working back at what I was educated to do. So it seems like a lot of people go out for their education and they don't end up doing it. But since I've been working at the gallery here for a couple days a week, it's just been another good way to see where I can fit what I do in. And I came across a magazine around Christmas that had an article about fold forming, and that's one of the techniques that I learned when I was in art school from Charles Luttenbrain, who developed the way of working with metal. That I thought, I'm going to make some of that again. Got really excited about it and ordered the materials, and everything was set, and so I ended up making a run of earrings, and I'm planning on doing more, continuing to do it. What I really enjoy about working with the metal is that I end up going into a kind of flow state, so it's where time disappears, time stands still, and I go, wow, geez, look at where'd the time go? Time flies when you're having fun, right? It is therapeutic to realize, oh, I put the music on, the CD stopped, probably a couple hours ago, and here I am still just involved in what I'm doing and engaged and interested, and it's a really good place to be. It tells me that I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. Yes. I moved from Calgary in 2005 back to Fort St. John, where I grew up. When I lived in Calgary, I did have various studio spaces where I worked on metal. Once I moved back to Fort St. John, I didn't really have the facilities to work on it. And I was also working through a repetitive strain injury. So I had a repetitive strain injury in my wrists and elbows, and I still do deal with that, so I have to really pace myself and not overdo it. But that seems to be healing, which is a good thing, and I found ways to work around it as well. My husband and I purchased a house, so I do have a workspace now which has proper ventilation and is a specific area for me to work on the metal. Such a great thing. I'm so excited and ecstatic to have this workspace. It's just a small utility room. It's my little corner in the world, but it functions. I also acquired some very useful equipment that came to me in an interesting, serendipitous way. I heard someone had inherited this equipment, and I offered to buy it, but he generously offered to lend it to me basically indefinitely, and I am so appreciative of his generosity. So that's another incentive that has given me this opportunity to work on the metals again. For instance, like a couple of the pieces of equipment that I acquired were a rolling mill, which is very necessary. You can do fold forming without it, but you can do so much more with a rolling mill, and a polishing machine. So there are two pieces of equipment that I didn't have to go out and purchase. How did I get into making jewelry? It's funny. There was a course when I went to junior high here in Fort St. John at Burtboes. Lloyd Gibson gave it, and he's recently retired in the last couple of years, but I remember years ago doing a cuttle bone casting with pewter, and I think that was one of the moments in life where I went, wow, I'd like to do more things like this. There's something about jewelry there's this sentimental attachment that goes along with certain pieces that you have, and it's something that intrigues me. And also just once you start to delve into it, there's other things that kind of pull you along. It's a lot of work. It's very labor intensive working with metals, but there's really fascinating little things about it, like when you heat the metal up, traces of rainbows show up in the metal, that kind of thing, and it just kind of, wow, what a magical thing. So that's one thing. And And another thing is, when I went to art school, I initially felt, oh, I'm going to go into painting. This is definitely what I want to do. But once I got to the college in Calgary, Alberta College of Art and Design, I checked things out, took a variety of I checked out the different faculties and departments, and I decided I really liked the people that were in the jewelry department. The jewelry metals department was very supportive, small, not a lot of people, and so you got to have a lot of one-on-one interaction with the profs. That is one of the interesting things about building jewelry, is that it has the fine art element and yet it also has the design element, because to make something that's going to be worn has to have mechanical elements to it. It has to have ways that it works. So that's the design element, and then the fine art, sky's the limit once you learn the processes. You can let your creativity flow. What's attractive about fold forming is the way that the metal undergoes the same stresses that occur in nature. And so you end up with these natural, organic forms occurring through the process. I like how that process allows for the metal to do what it almost naturally wants to do, rather than forcing it to conform to my wishes. It's more the metal does what it wants to do. Yeah. I love this place. Peace Gallery North, great place. And I know I'm not the only person that thinks that, but just to share and spread the word that, you know what, this place really gives me hope. It really is a great resource for local artists, artisans, and people that appreciate art. So we're very lucky to have this gallery. I've realized in the last few years since I've been back, and even before then, that great people really come from Fort St. John. So even if people don't stay here for their whole lives, great people have lived here. Great people come from here, and there is an amazing talent. There is some amazing talent and beautiful people in this area.